Okay. Hey friends, Vanity V here, and we're about to get into this episode 3 of SWV and Xscape, Queens of R&B. Before I get started, I have to say I'm loving this series so far. I didn't think I was going to love it this much. I knew it would be good because, again, the last shows that SWV and Xscape were in were really good, but it's really good. And tonight was nice because we got a lot of SWV. Because in the first 2 episodes, it's been very Xscape heavy, which is understandable given all the things that are going on with that group. But today we got a lot of SWV, and I feel like every scene was like action packed in the fact of, either it was drama or it was kind of like digging into some family dynamics with SWV. So that was really nice to see. So I got my handy dandy notes, and we could just jump into it. So the episode begins with Taj and Tasha. And remember the episode 2, it ended. Tasha was in Nashville and she was meeting with Motown to talk about this solo deal that we didn't ask for. And so I'm assuming she decided to stay a little while. And so she meets up with Taj because Taj lives in Nashville with her husband, Eddie. And Taj takes her to, I believe it's that African American History Museum that's in Nashville. And they walk around, and similar to the one that's here in DC, there's an exhibit that is focused on music. And so they're walking around, they're seeing LL Cool J, they're seeing, all the different Destiny's Child, and then they kind of go over to the little part of the exhibit. Taj wanted Tasha to see the part where Xscape was there, which is really dope. I could imagine that being in the music industry and going to see yourself and seeing a part, you as such a big part of history, had to be amazing for Tasha. And Tasha needs it because Tasha has not been focusing on the group. She's been focusing on this solo career. And so Tasha's like, I wanted you to see yourself. I wanted you to see how important Xscape is to music history. So that was really, really cool. I love Taj. Taj is the big sister of both groups. She's such a great mediator. I hope that she looks back and sees herself in that light. Like seems like she probably gives the best advice, and she kind of seems like the voice of reason. And I'm just loving that she's in this role, and she seems very, very close with everybody from both groups. So that's nice. So while they're there, Taj asks Tasha, like, so what's going on? Like, catch me up. And, Tasha's kind of like, well, basically, Tasha had already spoken with Tamika on the last episode where Tamika told her about, I don't think Tamika told her about the thievery, the stealing of her money, but she did tell her that she got into it with her and that she's beefing with her and her mom. So Taj kind of asked her, like, well, what's going on with that? And of course, Tasha's very vague, which is like, what's the point, Tasha, of having these conversations with people? First of all, you are in a TV show, so it's all going to come out. But why even talk to people if you're not going to keep it a buck? Like, you're not keeping it real. And again, you're vague with your answers. Taj is not stupid. Not only does she know that there's some tension, she feels it, and she knows because you're taking forever to make a decision. So she asked her, like, what's going on? And of course, Tasha's like, oh, we have issues that we need to work through. She doesn't delve into, obviously, what the root of it is. And so she was like, but I'm here for, a solo deal potentially. So Tasha's like, what? She's like, for real? And she's like, damn, so wait, are you planning on leaving the group? Or, what are you doing? And Tasha never really answers. Well, she never answers questions. That is frustrating, girl. I could not have a conversation. You never answer questions. I hate people like that. That reminds me of what's his face from Love and Marriage, Huntsville. What's her face husband? Oh my God, I can't think of the name. But what's his face? Not Maurice. Why can I not think of his damn name? not Martell, not Maurice. Ugh, I hate when, don't you hate when you can't think of somebody's name? But anyway, Tisha's husband, who never answers questions, like Tasha just gives me that. Like she ring around the rosy, always goes around, but never fully answers the question. And so, again, Taj is just thinking like, oh shit, she's not devoted to Xscape. She's not fully in it. And so she kind of like, there's several times in this episode where Taj goes back to, it makes reference to like Coco kind of doing the same thing. And so Taj obviously is worried about that, and she's just curious on what's going on, but Tasha doesn't give any answer, which is the theme of what she does. If Rocky's not there, she's not giving an answer. So anyway, and so we get to Coco and in Virginia. They look like they're in Norfolk or Virginia Beach, and Coco's meeting up with two of her friends. I like Coco. It's something about her that resonates with me, because it's just like, I always find it fascinating, people that have like that really tough exterior, but when you kind of like chip away at it, they're really soft on the inside. And so that's what Coco gives me. Coco gives me like, I've been through a lot. I don't really want to let you see, I got to keep kind of like this mask on, but when you kind of take it off, she's like really cool and sweet. And Coco's like really touchy-feely. She's always grabbing somebody's booty. Or like touching on somebody's boobs, which, she doesn't do that to strangers. She's doing that with her friends, but I just think it's hilarious. But anyway, so she meets up with her friends, and, they're kind of like catching up and everything. And then the gentleman that's there asks her like, okay, so, how you been doing? How's everything going with your mental health? And then Coco reveals, which is like, wow. She says that she's been dealing, since 2017, she's been dealing with bipolar depression, which I've actually never heard of. I mean, we've heard of those being bipolar and depression separate from each other, but I didn't know that they coexisted in one term or one diagnosis. So that's interesting. I need to Google that and see, which is sad, because I've been depressed. I've gone through little bouts of depression in my life, and it's sounding, I can deduce that, and she even explained it. It's where she's really happy, and then suddenly she's just very, very depressed. It's, that bipolar thing that's kind of up and down. I'm really proud and glad. See, I love, unlike some of the people like in Potomac who don't talk about what's really going on in their life, it's endearing when we see people in these reality shows that actually talk about real shit that's going on in their lives, because someone can see that and be like, dang, maybe that's what I'm going through, and that will kind of poke and prod them to go and look deeper into it. So I was proud of her, for recognizing that she has that issue and taking steps. But she said that what prompted her, she was like, something's not right. Cause she said she felt like she wanted to kill somebody. I wonder if it's her ex-husband, because I know they went through some things, I believe, when SWV had their first show. So I wonder if it's her ex-husband. Allegedly, I don't know. I'm just guessing, because a man to take you to that point. But I'm curious if that's who she's talking about. But she said she felt like she wanted to kill someone, and that is what made her know, like, okay, there's something deeper going on, and I need to look into this more. Like, this is not just sadness. Like, if I'm feeling like I'm really about to kill somebody, I need to get help. And I'm proud of her, and I'm glad that she did that. She said she went and got help, and that she's now on medication, and it helps to regulate her, helps to make her feel, better most of the time. And so hopefully this will help someone else that's out there that may be feeling the same way to want to go get help. So I love when I see people on TV that can share that kind of stuff, because they're celebrities, but they're regular just like us. We all go through shit. And so sometimes you don't know what's wrong, and sometimes you just need help to be healthy. And so I'm so grateful that she shared that, and I'm proud of Coco for doing that. All right, so The next scene was really heavy. The next scene was where Tamika finally met up with her mom, and I'm not gonna lie, I cried. I had to like, my daughter was next to me last night when I was first watching it, and I was like, damn, like that scene just it 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 did something to me. I really felt that scene because it just made you look at like Tamika. You know, she's an adult, and obviously she's grown, right? But you could just see like the little girl inside of her that was just hurting. And it just exuded, you know, in through her when she was talking to her mom. But yeah, that scene was really sad. I definitely cried, and I didn't even expect that. I usually don't cry about over TV shows, but that scene made me cry because I just feel, you can feel it, that Tamika is hurting, and I hope that her mom is able to look at this and really reflect, which she probably won't, because you know, I feel like once people are older, 60s, 70s, 80s, they are not changing. And I'm not gonna say too much about her mom because I don't like her mom, but that's her mama, so I'm gonna respect that and just leave that alone. But yeah, hopefully she can reflect upon it and look at how much her daughter's hurting. But anyway, so so when they meet, you know, Tamika makes her favorite salmon, and you know, Tamika seemed like she could probably really cook well. She has her little seasoning lines I saw her talk about. So she makes her salmon. Her mom sits down and she's, you know, talking to her mom, and she tells her like, "Mom, like, I felt favoritism growing up. Like, I feel like you always have Tasha's back, but you never have mine. You're always concerned with what Rocky and Tasha are doing, you know, and making sure that they're okay, but you're not concerned with me." And so immediately, Mama G is like, "That's not true." But you know, I pray that as a, you know, my daughter, she's 8, about to be 9, but I just hope that if she comes to me as an adult, I really hope for the discernment and the humility to not immediately say she's lying, and listen to her and see what she is feeling. And you know, because sometimes there's some ways in parenting that you may come off to your child that you didn't recognize at the time. And I feel like a lot of older parents in the older generation, they don't realize that, and it's hard for them to admit when they've hurt their kid, because kids can be hurt too. So she immediately is, you know, kind of downplaying what Tamika is saying, and Tamika's just fed up. She's sitting there, she's fed up, she's had it, and she's just like, "Look, you know, basically, Mom, like, you're not the 5th member of the group," which is funny because Mama Joyce probably thinks she's the 5th member. I could almost bet my life on it. She probably feels the same way, which I get it. But at the same time, like, when it comes to the business, it just muddies the waters when the parents are involved, especially when you have 2 other group members that are not your children. So you kind of have to take a step back. And it seems like Mama G has had a terrible time with doing that. So she's like, "Yeah, you're not the 5th member of the group, Mom." And Mama G's like, "Yes, I am. My blood, sweat, and tears. And I put the microphone in your hand." And she's like, "Yeah, that's cool, but nah, like, you're not, you need to take a step back, and Rocky needs to take a step back," which is something that clearly, and it's apparent that Mama G has never been able to do. So Tamika asked her, like, I wish you would go as hard for me as you go for Rocky and Tasha. Like, I've never gotten that from you. Anytime something comes up, it doesn't matter what it is, you take her side. And that has to be hard. I understand Tasha being the oldest. I could imagine that there was a level of responsibility that maybe her mom put on her. So maybe she trusted her, you know, a little more than Tamika. And I get all of that, but at the same time, you cannot allow one of the children to feel that you favor the other one. And this has to be an eye-opener for your mom, Tamika. I pray it is. So Tamika breaks down, and it was sad because there was a point where, like, and my daughter does this, where she was like crying and like kind of looking to the side, and her mom was like, "Look at me." And then she kind of like looked at her mom, and I was like, ugh, because you could just like feel the little girl inside of her. And then, they had a moment where it felt a little bit sincere, where her mom was like, if I made you feel a certain way, I apologize. And I don't really like apologies like that. She should have just said, I'm sorry, because I know that I made you feel this way. Like, take ownership of it. Not like, if I did it. No, you did it. Like, take ownership of it. And I hate, that's that Nene Leakes apology. I hate it when people say, well, if I made you feel, bitch, I told you made me feel a way. Like, don't say if, this is the way you made me feel. But, child, that's probably all we gonna get from Mama G. So they, at the end of the scene, they kind of had a little moment. Unfortunately, Tamika, your mom's probably never gonna change. So I'm proud of you. You told her, like, look, if things don't change, I might have to fall back. And I tell people all the time, like, even if it's family, for your mental health, unfortunately, even if it's your mom, you have to take a step back if you're being mistreated, and there's no love lost. I'm sure that doesn't mean you love your mom any less, but it's like, look, you're continuing to hurt me. Even in my adult life, I can't be around this. So that was really dope that you said that to your mom. And I could tell when you said it, she kind of was like, what do you mean? Like that, it seemed like that she might have awoken a little bit from that. But yeah, she needs to know, like, look, I can't change you, but I'm going to remove myself. So that was very good that you said that, Tamika. Okay. All right. So then Taj comes over to Kandi's house. Taj had her cute little hair wrap on. I like to wear those sometimes, with her cute little red person. I love Taj. Taj is just like, the around the way girl that is so sweet and so nice. And she just, when she comes into the scene, it just like makes you feel good. But she comes over and hangs out with Kandi, and they're kind of talking or whatever. And then Taj drops the bomb that, look, I saw Tasha, right? Tasha was in Nashville. And then it's funny because when she said that, Kandi was like, Tasha who? Because she was probably like, I know you're not talking about my group member, Tasha. And she's like, yeah, she was in Nashville and she was shopping a solo deal. Kandi's like, man, And so Kandi's just reflecting, like, I knew this heifer was doing something. Like, I knew it. I felt it. I knew that it was something. She said, and Kandi has said this before, every time Tasha is doing stuff on the side and she doesn't want anybody to know about it, she gets funny style. And she was like, I'm not surprised. Like, I felt it. I knew it. And then, Tasha's like, yeah, like, it's not cool. And she's like, Coco did the same thing. Coco kicked him to the curb around the same time that Xscape broke up, and Coco went solo. So they were just kind of like comparing notes. I'm like, yeah, like, I've been through this. And so Kandi is like, Tasha, you are dead wrong. You are so dead wrong for doing, like, I cannot believe you had the nerve to go do that and not tell your group members. And at the moment that you told Tosh, I'm assuming you felt okay. You had to have known she was going to go tell somebody and it was going to get back to the group. So I don't know why you handled it like that. Like, everything about you is the opposite of godly. And I'm serious. I mean, I really mean that. Like, you lie, you stealing, you doing shady stuff behind your group members' back, and you want us to go and support your solo album that is gospel? I won't be buying it. And it's crazy because you have a beautiful voice. You have a beautiful voice. But you're not likable. We don't like you. And we'll see little snippets of like your personality. It was like, okay, it seems like she might be okay. But then it's like all the underhanded things that you're doing. Where's the congeniality in this? Like, we don't like you. You're not likable. And I feel like that's like the number one thing to be solo. Because there are a lot of solo artists that really aren't that talented. But they have that like down to earth, around the way, like realness. You are not real. You're so fake, I can't even take it. And that is so important when you're solo. because you don't have other group members to like lean on, and you guys are kind of camouflaging each other's flaws. You don't have that when you're solo. So and you know what's crazy? I kind of think you know that a little bit, but I think it's your husband that's gassing your head up. I think that Rocky is in your ear telling, which I'm not even necessarily all the way mad at that, because your a husband is supposed to support you, but it's the evil way I feel like that he goes about it. Like he is pushing you to like disown your group, and the way you're handling it is wrong. You could Xscape is amazing. You could still do Xscape. Look at all the shit that Kandi's doing. You could do this little solo thing that you're doing and still do stuff with your group. Why do you have to be so malicious? And when you gonna get Tamika her money? That's what I want to know. Like, when is Tamika getting her money? But anyway, so I digress. I don't even know where were we at with this. Oh, Taj was meeting with Kandi. So yeah, so Taj basically at that meeting they kind of caught up, and then Taj was told her like, girl, she's going solo. So, you know, obviously Kandi again wasn't too surprised because she already felt like something was up. So. And then, you know, towards the end of them, Taj invited, you know, Xscape to come to their rehearsal so they could talk. She's like, look, you know, one monkey don't stop the show. Like, if she's not going to be on board, we can still keep it moving without her. I'm so glad that they're saying that, because Tasha wants nothing more, I feel like, than to sabotage all this. I feel like she's holding a grudge, because really all of this, to be honest, is about Kandi. She's jealous of Kandi. And Rocky's they're all jealous of Kandi, which is crazy because I feel like Kandi does nothing but uplift people and try to make other people better. You really need to be like joining forces with her and getting on her team and seeing how to be, as you know, what is her formula for success. Like, that's what I would be doing, because Kandi has it going on. And I really feel like all of this is because of Kandi. Like, you're trying to make it like it's about your sister, which, I mean, I know you're not happy that she put you on blast, but like, I really think the root of this is Kandi. But anyway, so Xscape, SWV invites Xscape to come to one of their rehearsals so that they can talk, because they're like, look, we're on a time crunch. Like, what are we doing? So Kandi lets her know that they'll be going. Then we see Lily, she's going to dinner with her son, and their relationship is so cute. He's like 32. I think I saw her son on Growing Up Hip Hop maybe a couple seasons ago, the Atlanta one. But, you know, she's talking to her son. They have a cute relationship, and he's a rapper, and she's just like giving him advice like, look, I'm not going to handhold you. I'm going to help you along the way, but you got to grind harder. And then while they're at dinner, I didn't know Lily, I feel like I knew she had it rough when SWV broke up, but I didn't know that she was like sleeping in her car. I don't remember that part of the story. Damn, she was working a regular ass job. They probably was frying her at work. That had to be very uncomfortable to go from being a platinum selling artist, as dope as SWV is, and then go to working like at Kinko's or wherever you worked. I'm like, oof, that had to be rough. But so, you know, she's just kind of like, you know, reminiscing on how far she's come, and she's just like, look, I'm going to continue to work hard. I think she said she has some like books that are coming out. So her and her son are just kind of talking about that. So that's nice to see. You know, I like Lily. She's very transparent, you know, about her struggles and just how far she's come. You know, that builds character, and I really, really like SWV. I really do. Because you can see they're like, look, we've been at rock bottom. We're going to work together because we're not going back there. So I love that they have that mentality to continue to work hard. Regardless of their problems, they're going to just thug it out and handle the business and put the other stuff to the side. So, all right. So that was good. So then we see Tasha. She's in the studio. And again, Tasha has a beautiful voice. But is it me? That song is not giving gospel. It's giving like, it's very secular. It's not gospel-esque. But anyway, she's singing her song. The song doesn't sound half bad. Again, her voice is beautiful, but I just keep going back to the same point. Like, I'm not, I don't care how dope the song is. I don't like you. And I know too much about you, and you thought you were going to take this show and use it to promote your solo career, but we don't like you. So, I mean, I can't wait to see what happens after the show. Like, if, if she comes crawling back to Xscape, because again, like, you're not likable. But anyway, so she's in the studio and she's recording some stuff, and then in comes Rocky. Every time Rocky, literally, when he enters a room, I be like, it's just like I don't want to say the devil, because it's really not that deep, but it's just like just a gush of bad energy is just hit you. You know how like the blow dryer just hit you like bam, you like damn, it's hot. Like that's how I feel when Rocky comes in the room. It's just like obnoxious amount of like we don't like you that just hits us and slaps us in the face when he comes in. And so he's just coming in there because he just has to come to everything that she's doing. And then this fool gonna make a reference, a Tina Turner and Ike Turner reference, talking about sing the song anime or whatever he said. And I was like, Rocky, it's just like all bad. Like everything is just all, I'm running out of adjectives for you, Rocky. It's like, we don't like you. You got like kids you're not taking care of, allegedly. You stealing money, allegedly. You're controlling, allegedly. And then you gonna make the Ike Turner reference, Rocky. So then he's talking to her, and he, of course, every scene he comes up, he has to reiterate, why did Tamika bring me up? Girl, boy, shut up. Like, if guilty was a person, your face would be right next to it. It's like, Rocky, ain't nobody think. I hope, man, Tamika probably ain't gonna do it, but I hope she presses charges on y'all. Because not only did y'all steal from me, but y'all have the audacity to be talking shit on TV. Like, if you don't shut your ass up, if, God forbid, if I ever stole from someone like that, I would never do it. But if I did, I definitely wouldn't be like, you're like egging them on. Like, you need to be quiet. I would zip it, because if I was Tamika, and I would be like, they have the nerve to steal my money, and then they're like talking shit. He's over here like threatening, low-key threatening, and then you talking shit about me, like. So he every scene that he's in, I feel like he has to reiterate, like, how dare she say my name? Boy, Tamika, please press charges on them. Please do it. Like, I would have an ultimatum. I would give him like 2 weeks, and I would be like, I'm gonna need you to take that advance from your little solo project and give me my $30,000 back, or I'm pressing charges, period. That's it. Like, your sister, the audacity of it all is what is getting me. So anyway, then Coco, she visits her son. It looks like they're like in some type of hotel room, and they're kind of talking. And her youngest son is in dental school, which is amazing because we need more Black dentists. I love Black dentists. My dentist is Black. My daughter's pediatric dentist is Black. So, and Black dentists are amazing, and we need more of them. So, but he says, like, I don't want to do it anymore. Like, he did 1 year, and he's like, I want to quit, and I want to start singing. So naturally, as any parent, Coco's like, are you kidding me? Like, you cannot be serious. And she's like, boy, you did 1 year and you did amazing. We need more Black dentists. No. And I'm paying for it. I'm paying for your school. Like, take your ass back to the school. And this is really hard because, well, first of all, I hope he goes back to dental school. He probably didn't. He probably took the year off. But I hope he does, because, first of all, being a dentist is such a great field. I mean, you can open up your own practice and make a lot of money. And it's, the music business is so up and down. So that's probably why Coco was like, I don't want you to go through this. She knows the trials that she went through. Chances are he's not going to be at the level that SWV was. So it's like, you can be a professional and you're good at it. And then really, like, 1 year is not enough time, I feel like, to um to determine that you don't want to go back to school. Like, the music's always going to be there. If you take a year off, more than likely you're not going back. So I felt her. She was like, no, I want you to stay. So they call her mom, and he seems really close with her mom. And her mom she surprised her, and it's kind of like, well, if you take 1 year off and then you decide, then you can make a decision, which we all know, you take a year off school, you're not going back. That's just it. And so Coco's kind of like, who is this lady? Like, you weren't like that with me. But grandparents always soften up on the grandkids. It's a lot different. So I guess they come to the conclusion that her son is going to take a year off of school and do music, which kind of sucks. Especially, he seems very, very smart, like he's on the right track. So I know that's hard. But again, I mean, I guess you can't force your kids to stay in school if that's not where their heart is. So, hopefully they're saying that he's really talented. So hopefully he has some success with his music career. All right, so we get to the good part. Xscape meets SWV at their rehearsal. And on the way to the rehearsal, Kandi is having a conversation, and she's like, yeah, like I told my group mates that Tasha is going solo. Tasha hadn't told anybody. The group members didn't know. So Kandi is talking about, I told them. And like, pretty much nobody is surprised, because they're all saying, this is like her MO. This is what she does when she's going solo. She acts funny, she gets distant, and she acts as if she doesn't need the group, which is so weird, because it's like, girl, you've been through this before. We like you even less than we did back, because we didn't know all of this stuff back in the day. We like you less now. So karma, it's okay. It's all gonna come back to you, because this album's gonna flop, and then what are you gonna do? If I was the group members, I would have some type of unanimous decision where you can't come back. I don't know if that's legally possible, but well, I guess we'll have to see what happens with that show. So they escape. Everybody gets there. Bitter face Tasha even comes with her little metallic pants. That girl, where did you get those from? But anyway, so Taj kicks off the meeting, and she's like, okay, so what are we doing? Like, how are we planning on moving forward? Y'all kind of have had us in limbo. Like, what is the plan? Y'all let us know. And then Taj is like, look, we should just do one big show. Let's test it out. Let's see, let's see how we mesh. Let's see how we gel and how the show goes or whatever. She's kind of opposed to just making a commitment to one big tour. Taj is saying, let's just do one show. So then, Taj's like, is everybody in? And like, everybody puts their hand in the circle. And so everybody goes, and then they pan over to Tasha and Coco are conveniently sitting next to each other. And then Coco looks at Tasha and is like, you ain't gonna put your hand in? And so then Tasha's like barely put her hand in. Coco's like, girl, stop playing. And so then she's like, okay. And I'm just like, your attitude sucks. Do you want to make money? You know that this is going to be a big thing. Why are you being so difficult? I don't understand it. You and Kandi have never gotten along. You and your sister are beefing, but she's not bringing that shit into the workspace. She's not. Like, she's not even checking for that right now. Why are you acting like this? It's because you think you have, something to fall back on, which is your non-existent solo career. And you suck. So she reluctantly puts her hand in, and then they do whatever. That's short-lived, because, child, they start talking about the business of it all. And then, Kandi's like, okay, so like, what are we doing about who's headlining? So, of course, when she says that, Taj is like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, then her and then SWV's management, suggests, okay, well, like, why don't we co-headline? And then Kandi's like, Kandi be like, the little thing she does with her mouth. And she was like, I don't know. I don't think so. And then Tiny's like, well, you know, there. So SWV is like, well, where y'all going with this? Like, what are y'all saying? And so Tiny's kind of like, well, it's like, you know, we just got to sort out the business part of it. And so Taj is like, wait, are y'all suggesting that y'all get paid more than us? And so Candy's like, yeah, I mean, but we've been headlining our own shows. And so, you know, she's like, we want to have top billing on our show. And so Taj is like, what do you mean our show? Like, this is, you know, this is their SWV show as well. So, of course, it gets very, very awkward. Like, that, you could feel the awkwardness in that room. And then Lily's like, bitch, I gotta go to the bathroom. And so then Coco's like, I'm gonna come with you. And so they're talking shit on the way out. And then that's when Coco's like, I sold 30 million records, bitch. And, you know, they're not having it. They're not feeling the idea. So, okay, this is my opinion on it. And it's funny because, like, recently I've been listening to the music of SWV and Xscape. Let me say this. I love both groups. I'm leaning towards SWV, liking SWV's music more. I'm also more of a fan of Coco's voice. I think her voice is phenomenal, probably one of the most beautiful voices I've ever heard. So replay value, I probably like SWV's music more. Xscape has some hits, like they both are great groups, but let me just say this. I think that I agree with Kandi, and I'm gonna tell you why. You have to think about who is bringing the bigger audience, who's actually putting people's in the seats. And when you break that down, Kandi has amassed a huge following from the Housewives. We cannot ignore that. She is super popular, A-list. I mean, she has so many businesses. It's just unmatched the way that she has grown her social media following. Just people love Kandi. And the majority of people that are probably coming there for Kandi. I mean, that's not even talking about Tiny yet. Just Kandi aside, she's putting most of those people in them seats. And we're not saying we don't love SWV, and like I've never seen them live. I would love to, but like most people are coming to see Kandi. Let's just be honest. And then you bring in Tiny, who has this huge following as well because of VH1, and then her husband's T.I., which takes it to a whole other level. And so when you combine that, in addition to the fact that we love Xscape, I mean, I kind of agree that Xscape should be headlining. Now, if take this out, honestly, if we didn't have the success of Tiny and Kandi, then I would say SWV. But you have to think about how are the people coming to the concert? Who's coming to the concert? Who's bringing them to the concert? When you break that down, yeah. I mean, outside of album sales, like, regardless of the album sales, that's great, but I have star power that you don't have. And 80% of the people are coming to see me. And I'm sure Kandi didn't want to say that. She probably was thinking it like, bitch, I'm bringing most of the people there. Yes, my group should headline over yours. I mean, when you break it down like that, I kind of agree. So, but SWV, they're amazing. I mean, it doesn't take anything away from the group, but when you think about the fact that Xscape is bringing the majority of the people there, they have to have preference over SWV. And it sucks, and I know that was probably very, very uncomfortable, and Xscape needs to get their management together so that their management can have these type of conversations, because Kandi really shouldn't have been the person to say that. But whatever. I mean, I know you probably don't want that management because they're involved with Tasha, so I'm not even mad at that. But it was very uncomfortable, but I would have to agree with Kandi. And I'm not just saying that because I do love Kandi, but if there was no Kandi and Tiny, then I would agree that SWV should headline, but that's just not where we're at. We're not in 98 anymore. It's different. It's a different crowd. I mean, a lot of the same people, but a lot of the younger people are coming to see Kandi. So when you take that into account, I'm excited to see the next episode because SWV was not having that and they were pissed. And I wouldn't be surprised if Xscape caves for that show. I mean, I don't know if they're going to end up doing this actual tour. I won't be surprised if Xscape caves, because specifically Coco was not having that. So I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm curious to know what you guys think about it. I mean, I could see why people would agree that maybe either way. I mean, again, they're both great groups. But when you start looking at the business part of it and how the people are actually, why they're coming to the concert, and the fact that it's going to bring so many more people to the concert because I'm a part of Xscape, then you got to start looking at it differently like that. So. But anyway, this was a great episode. I'm going to be so sad when the series goes off. I hope that they have a season 2. Something's telling me they're not because of the Tasha BS with her sister. But, you never know what happens. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening to my commentary. And I will see you next week for episode 4. Bye-bye.